So, good morning, all of you. Those who are present in the class, they can be participant in the class while the class is going on. So, today we will start the transmission lines, which is your third chapter. Most of the students have asked me to revise this chapter once again. So, I'm just wanted to give some introduction about this chapter. So, in the previous chapters, first of all, we have understood about different transmission types of power system. Initially, we have gone through how the power is generated in the generating stations. The generating stations are of different types depending upon the source of energy. If the source of energy is conventional sources, then we have conventional power systems like thermal power systems, hydel power systems, and nuclear power systems. When we go for the non-conventional sources of energy like the upcoming methods of power generation, we have different sources of energy like newly developed like solar power, we have hydel power, we have biomass power, tidal power, wind power, etc. So all the power stations which use this type of energy sources, they are called as newly developed power stations, that is non-conventional power stations. So after the job of generating the power, the next question is to supply the power to the consumers. So in order to supply power to the consumers, first we need to transmit the power from the generating stations to whom we should transfer. Anybody? So we need to transfer the power to different power stations. So we need to transmit the power station. We need to transmit the power to the substations, and the substations we from the substations we then distribute the power to the different consumers. So in between the generation and distribution, the intermediate stage in the power system is called as transmission system. So here we can recall that electrical energy is essential ingredient for the industry and all-round development of any country. It is converted form of energy and generated centrally in bulk, then transmitted economically over a long distance. Okay, so it is converted form of energy and generated centrally in the bulk and then transmitted economically over a long distance. So when the power is generated, power is generated centrally at the general power stations and then it is transmitted in bulk over long distances. So because why we need a transmission system, what is the objective of our lesson is to understand the purpose of transmission lines, the choice of supply systems, and then the relative advantages of DC and AC systems. So here basically we first understand what is the need of transmission lines and how many types of supply systems are there, and out of different supply systems what will be our best choice, and the last one is what are the advantages of DC and AC transmission systems. So first of all, let us begin this session with to understand the need for the transmission line. Okay, so the generating stations, transmission lines, and distribution system are the main components of electric power system. As I told earlier, in a power system means what? It is a group of all the connecting jobs. So here a system is one where we can have generating stations, power transmission lines, and distribution system. These are the basic components which are present in any electric power system in any country also. And the generating stations and distribution systems are connected through transmission lines, which also connect from one grid to another grid. So here we can see the electrical power generated at a voltage of 11 to 25 kV, which is stepped up to the transmission lines in the range of 66 to 400 kV or higher. So in the power stations, the power is generated at voltages of 11 to 25 kV. But this is not economical for transmitting the power. So what we have to do in the next step, we have to use step-up transformers. These transformers are called as power transformers, and this will help the voltages to be increased, to be stepped up to the transmission levels, and then transmission is carried out at higher voltages, which may be ranging from 66 to 400 kV. The need for distribution systems, the next point is the need of distribution systems and transmission lines is to transmit the electric power from the generating station to the consumer. So ultimately, who are using the power? The power is to be used by the consumers. So here we already know consumers are the people who will be using the product. Here our product is electricity. So after generation of electricity, we can't keep quiet and we want the users to use this power. So the customers will buy the power from the electric market. So before buying this, they need to understand what type of product is available in the market. Depending upon their requirement, they consume that particular nature of power. The need of distribution systems and transmission lines is to transmit the electric power from the generating station to the consumer locations. Here, the consumer can be of industry, domestic, or agriculture, or bulk industries, etc., factories, etc. These are they are all come under consumers. So, the need of distribution systems and transmission lines is basically to transmit. That's why in the name itself, transmission line, transmit means move, transmit means transfer. What we are transferring? We are transferring electric power from one step to another step. That is one level to another level, or from one location to another location. So here our first location is the generating station, and the last level is the level, consumer station. In between we have distribution systems. Again, with the distribution systems, we can transmit the power at the desired level which is required by different types of consumers, which are who are like industry, domestic, agriculture, etc. Here you can see a simple example of a transmission line network. Here in the figure you are able to understand how the power is being transmitted to different consumers at a different substations. Okay, here we have generating station at 11 kV. This is a generating station, third generating station. So these generating stations are being coupled to locations A, C, etc. So same A is being coupled at point A. Here we have different voltages substation. This substation is at 33 kV. This is also at 33 kV. Generally we have 33 kV. Here you see 11 kV to 220 kV. Transmission level voltage is 220 kV, but substation level voltages are 33 kV. Again here you can see from A to C there is a transmission at 220 kV. Okay. Again from C to D there is a transmission of voltage at 220 kV. Here also from generating station 2 to C, there is a transmission of 220 kV. So then these distribution substations G, H, F, B, these are all these are all being these are all being connected, interconnected in a these are all being connected like that. Okay. Okay. So we have undergone through. So here we are, just now I have shown you a diagram where we can have a transmission line network. So this overall concept is the concept of an electric power system. System is a combination of generation, distribution and transmission. Or in the other way, if you want to step in hierarchical model, first step is generation, second step is transmission and third step is distribution, and fourth step is maintenance, safety and maintenance. So then in the objectives we have seen that first is to understand what is the need of transmission systems. Just now we have gone through that, and in the second step we are understanding what is the different types of transmission systems available in our country. We have basically two types of transmission system. The first one is direct current transmission system and the second one is alternating current transmission system. So here we can see in the DC transmission system we again have subclassifications. So here we can see basically three types of connections. These are also called as schemes of connections, which are not that much necessary as per your syllabus, but we need to understand the basic concept of the DC transmission system. So because in your next semester you are going to study the further concepts of the power transmission and distributions along with switchgear. So here similarly, in the AC transmission system, we have different types of connection schemes. How do we connect the lines? So first one is single phase AC system. Here, single means one, phase means conductor. AC system. Single phase, here you are having two wire system. Single phase, two wire with midpoint earthed and single phase, three wire. So these are different connections. Second one is two phase AC system, two phase three wire, two phase four wire, and the next one is three phase AC system. In the three phase AC system, we have three phase three wire, three phase four wire. So, base construction is shown here. How do we represent? So, here this is generator. So, one line is taken as the line one, and the second wire here because we are saying two wire, The first line is taken as the line and the second one is taken as the return path. So this is a supply system because we are generating the power. So the current is drawn from this generator. So this here at the terminal points you can connect a load. So the generator supplies to the load. Load is nothing but a consumer. So these are different schemes. In the second diagram we are able to see two generators which are connected at midpoint is grounded, and here with midpoint is earthed system. Here is a three wire system. So this is wire 1, this is wire 2, and this is the third wire. So it is called as DC three wire system. It's a single phase. Now we're coming to the AC systems. Single phase two wire system, two phase three wire system. This is a three phase. Two phases are there. Phase means, as I told, it is a conductor. So we have two conductors with three wires. Two phase with the four wire. So these are the basic connection diagrams. How do we connect the load across these three systems? This is a three phase, three wire system like this. Now, after understanding different schemes of connection, basically our next job is to understand what are the merits of DC transmission systems, because in your syllabus you are having compare AC and DC transmission systems, or what are the advantages or disadvantages of DC and AC transmission systems. So here we are showing a picture which is able to understand what how the transmission lines goes on. So some of the points which give the advantages of DC transmission system are listed below. So here we have no inductance and capacitive effect will be there, no phase displacement and surge problem. Surge means here we can treat it as over voltage, no skin effect and less corona loss, reduced interference with communicating circuits, potential stress on the insulation is less because the voltage withstanding capability is very less, hence the insulation stress will be less. That means the durability of insulation will be more. Some other advantages of DC transmission system are loss due to
Ma'am,
charging.
slide change కావట్లే మ్యామ్.
Amma?
మ్యామ్ స్లైడ్ చేంజ్ కావట్లే మ్యామ్.
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is already stuck,
నీల్
ma'am.
ఫైర్ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ లైన్ అని వస్తుంది మా పైన స్లైడ్.
Okay. So types of AC transmission systems. We have a single phase AC system. In that single phase AC system, we have single phase two wire with midpoint earth, single phase three wire. So these are different types of transmission systems: two phase AC system, three phase AC system, etc. These are the connecting schemes then. So it is a DC two wire with midpoint earthed, DC three wire system with midpoint earthed. It is an AC system, single phase two wire system. These are different schemes of connection. You need not worry about this. It is just for understanding. This is an extra information, extra content, extra knowledge to be imparted, because if we can't just visualize how the transmission systems will look. So I have given all these diagrams just to make you sure that how the systems will appear and how we can connect the loads. Here, suppose in a three-phase, three-wire system, this is the basic structure we are going to use in our applications, day-to-day applications. Here is an AC system. Here, this is the first conductor, second conductor, third conductor. So that's why it's a three-phase system with the three outlets. which can draw the current from this generator. This generator is called as AC generator is called as what? It is called as alternator. It is called as alternator because all these machines in AC machines you must have known all these. In the fifth semester you will have AC machines lab also. In that you will be understanding what is an alternator because this is the basic structure of an alternator. So obviously in your syllabus the topics are discussed in such a way that introduction is given in the previous units so that it will be an added advantage for you when you come to your the next semesters where you can get a correlation from your previous semesters. So this is a three-phase four-wire. The neutral point is also taken. So in general, we are going to use only these type of connections. That is three-phase three-wire, and this is three-phase four-wire. Where did we come across these two types of connections earlier? Anybody in the class can answer this. ఇది మనం ఎక్కడ చూసామో అంతకుముందు సర్క్యూట్స్ చాప్టర్స్ లో వచ్చిందా మనకిది?
Yes, star connection.
Yes, very good. This is star connection. So where did we get this? In polyphase systems we have come across these topics. సో సేమ్ ఇక్కడ మీరు అంతకుముందు థర్డ్ సెమిస్టర్లో చదువుకున్న నాలెడ్జ్ మీరు మర్చిపోకుండా ఉండుంటే ఈ ఏసీ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్స్ డీసీ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్స్ చదివేటప్పుడు అవి ఎలా వాడుతున్నాము అనేది మనకి ఒక నాలెడ్జ్ ఒక అవగాహన అనేది మనకి ఉంటుంది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద బేసిక్లీ used connection schemes for transmission systems. So generally the transmission systems are connected like this: three phase three wire transmission. Because we can't do just single phase transmission, we have to do polyphase transmission. So that any customer can use according to their necessity and need. So here next is we will come across different types of transmission systems and their purposes. So basically, what are the differences between AC and DC? Anybody in the class can just give a brief content about DC first, then AC. What do you understand by direct current? The participants should follow the questions and should ask me. Can unmute yourself and you can answer. Just give me what is the definition or what do you understand by a direct current system? Anybody in the class?
Ma'am, direct current ante
Huh.
the voltage will be constant.
Okay. How do we represent on the x and y axis?
Straight line, ma'am.
So the line will be parallel to which axis? Out of two axes x and y, the line will be parallel to?
X-axis, ma'am.
Yes, good. Yeah, direct current means the system voltage will remain constant and the voltage can be represented by a scalar. Scalar means a quantity with a fixed magnitude, that is called as a scalar quantity. It does not have any direction. So here in the direct current transmission systems we generate DC voltages and these DC voltages are transmitted. So because of DC there is no presence of inductance and capacitance in the system. Similarly, when there is no inductance and capacitance, there is no phase displacement between the voltage and current vectors because we do not have any vectors. We are having only scalars. Whenever we have vectors, we have direction and angle. Since the DC quantity is a scalar, you cannot expect a displacement between the voltage and current scalars. Hence, there is no phase displacement and the power factor can be treated to be as cos phi because there is no phase displacement. Your phi angle is 0, so cos 0 will be how much?
1, ma'am.
Okay. Next is, yeah, so no phase displacement, no surge problem, no skin effect, and less corona loss, reduced interference with communicating circuits, potential stress on the insulation is less. The next advantages will be loss due to charging current is eliminated. Used in underground cables also, voltage regulation is better and no stabilizer is required. Why stabilizer is not required? Because the voltage is already stable, it is already constant. So no need of employing any extra stabilizers to stabilize the voltage. So what can be the disadvantages of DC transmission? Power cannot be generated at higher voltages. So when the class is being taken, anybody you can just note it down some important points because these can be asked in the question. It is a very important question. Compare AC and DC transmission systems. So power cannot be generated at high voltages. Voltage cannot be stepped up. Cost of converting and inverting stations are high and requires costly switchgear. So basically in these two slides we have understood the advantages and disadvantages of DC transmission system. The next is comparing the advantages with the AC transmission systems. Once we know separately the advantages and disadvantages, then we can draw a comparison chart between the two types of transmission systems. Here the first best example of advantage is the voltage can be stepped up and stepped down, electrical power generated at higher voltages, maintenance of substation is easier and cheaper, cost of switchgear is less. Coming to the disadvantages, more conductor material is required, power loss due to charging current, construction of transmission lines are difficult, and synchronizing problems. Here, synchronizing problems means in AC, we are going to connect different generating stations to, as I told in our previous classes, I have told we use a smart grid or a grid to connect all the incoming generating stations to the grid. So when you make this connection, parallel connection of all these generating stations, that process of connecting to the grid is called as synchronizing with the grid. So while we are synchronizing with the grid, the incoming frequency and voltage of the power station should be same as that of the grid voltage, so that whenever they match, it is called as synchronized. Whenever it is not matching, it is called as unsynchronized, and hence synchronizing problems will arise in AC transmission systems. So disadvantages of AC transmission system. So don't get any noise. Please unmute yourself. If you are asking any question, you can unmute and then you can answer.
నువ్వు
Manoj
చెక్ చేయండి
Deshpande.
ఇప్పుడే వచ్చింది ఇలా ఛార్జింగ్ ఉండదు నువ్వు చెక్ చేసి రిటర్న్ చేస్తున్నావు అంటారు
Manoj Deshpande, your
అదే
voice is being heard.
అదే మేడం చెప్పింది వాడితే కదా మనం
Mute yourself.
నచ్చలేదని చెప్పడం
Okay, thank you. Disadvantages of
సారీ పిన్
disadvantages
ఏమనుకోకు
of
ఇలా
AC
చేస్తున్నావు
transmission systems. Manoj Deshpande. Manoj Deshpaka. Mute yourself, ma.
ఏం పెద్దని
Okay. So here we have seen the disadvantages of AC transmission. So in this presentation, we have discussed about need of transmission and distribution lines, choice of power system, different types of DC and AC systems, advantages, so here we are able to see the summary of today's session. The first we have discussed about the need of transmission and distribution lines. Then we have seen the choice of supply system. Here the choice of supply system is we have two choices. One is AC transmission system, the other one is DC transmission system. And in the last we have reviewed the advantages and disadvantages of AC and DC transmission systems. So here is a small quiz conducted for you. So whoever wants to answer, you can unmute yourself and tell the answer. So the first question is, in India, dash system is adopted for transmission of electric power. What system is adopted? Any guess?
3-phase 3-wire, ma'am.
Okay, good. Next one, DC transmission is dash to AC transmission. What will be the answer?
Good, ma'am. Good.
Actually, it is superior. Superior means we can't completely give that decision. It is more better than AC transmission system. So superior to AC transmission system. So primary transmission is done by three phase. How many wire?
3-wire, ma'am.
Yes, good. Dash voltage is used for power transmission as a matter of economy. Power transmission ki low voltage lo undala, high, medium, all of the above.
All of the above, ma'am.
కాదమ్మా పవర్ ట్రాన్స్మిషన్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా it should be done at high voltages. Second is the option. Okay, now from this session, the basically asked questions are, what is the need of transmission lines and what are the types of supply systems? The answer is two types, that is AC and DC. Draw the diagrams of each system, that is not necessary for you, and distinguish between a DC and AC supply system. This is very important from the examination of point of view. So please learn this. So after this class, please send me the attendance of how many students have attended. Today 18 people are there in this. So, Sujit? Sujit, are you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So if after this class, you tell me how to use the Zoom, because in my system it is not supporting. Then ask sir, like what should be the version should be downloaded, whether I am able to download it or not. I will check.
Okay, ma'am.
Then I will be able to take from tomorrow in that class. In that, otherwise,
Okay, ma'am.
have to redo it in this only, because my system is not supporting. If I do recording, my screen share is not working. If my screen share is working, I'm unable to do the recording. That is the problem.
Ma'am, you have to enable your recording in the setting also, ma'am. Already you have to enable it.